Lesson 14 is about the evaluation of algebraic expressions. A number is an idea, and when we write something down to represent this idea, we use a numeral. If we wish to bring to mind the number 7, we could write any of the following: 7, 14 divided by 2, 4 plus 3, negative 21 divided by negative 3, or 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1. Each of these is a numerical expression or just a numeral. They each have a value of 7. If we write the algebraic expression 4 plus x, the algebraic expression has a value that depends on the value we give to x. If we give x a value of 5, then the algebraic expression has a value of 9, because 4 plus 5 equals 9. If we give x a value of 11, then the algebraic expression has a value of 15, because 4 plus 11 would be equal to 15. Because the value of x can be changed or varied, we call letters such as x variables or unknowns. Numeral does not change its value, and therefore we call numerals constants. While the values assigned may be changed, the value assigned to a particular variable in a given algebraic expression is the same value throughout the expression. Here are some examples, and we'll work them with you. The first one says, find the value of xmp. If x equals 4, and if m equals 5, and p equals 2. Okay, I gotta see if I have my little pen going here. And I don't, so I'm going to pause for a minute. Okay, I think I have my class pad working now. So in this first problem, we want to evaluate the expression, algebraic expression, xmp. And we're given values for the variables. X is equal to 4, m is equal to 5, and p is equal to 2. Okay, well, we want to write that expression down, first of all. Okay, there it goes. Okay, we want to write down xmp again. And we want to make a parentheses to hold the place for each of the variables. This is very important that you do this, okay, in each and every one. This is a rather simple one, but as we go along, they will be getting more difficult. So this is holding the place for x here, okay, and x is equal to 4. This parentheses is holding the place for m, and m is equal to 5. And the final parentheses is holding a place for the value given to p, and p is 2. So we have 4 times 5, that equals 20, and then we have 20 times 2, and our answer then would be 40. Okay, now we want to evaluate this expression, 4yz minus 5. The value given to y is 2, and the value given to z is 10. So we rewrite the expression 4, we make a parenthesis for the value of y, we make a parenthesis for the value of z, and this is what we call a constant. It doesn't change its value. So we write that in. The value of y is 2. The value of z is 10. We have 4 times 2 then. That's going to equal 8 times 10 minus 5. 8 times 10 is 80, and minus 5 is 75. And that would be our answer. Okay, now we have the expression y minus z, and y is equal to negative 2, and z is equal to negative 6. We make a parenthesis for the y, we put our minus sign in and make another parentheses for the z. And we put in here -2, the value of y, and here -6. Well, we know that a double negative, like we have in front of the negative, in front of the 6, makes a positive. We can just drop the parentheses now in the -2. We do +6, double negative makes a positive, and -2 plus 6 is 4, and that would be our answer. Okay, here, oops, I left out the b value, and the b value here should be -4. Okay, so we have the opposite of, I don't know why that's not working, the opposite of -4, -3, I mean, for A. And then I'm going to erase that. Actually, I'm going to just dump it into the trash over here. There's the trash can. It's the opposite of negative, drop that into the trash, up to my pen, and we have the opposite of -3 minus, and then -4, and then minus -3 times -4. Very important that you have the parentheses when you have negative signs. Double negative in front of 3 makes that a positive. Double negative here makes that a positive 4. Becomes +4. In front of this multiplication, we have 1, 2, 3 negatives. That means it's going to be a negative. An odd number of negatives make a negative. These two, when we multiply them, would give us +12, but we'd still have this negative. And so our answer, or our continued solution, is going to be 7 plus -12, and that would be -5 as our answer. Okay. Page 4, they're getting a little bit more difficult now, more negative signs. We're enclosing things in parentheses. So we need something to hold the place for the value of x, and x equals 2. We have a minus sign here. We have another negative, and a equals -4 plus b, which is -6. Okay, so we do work in parentheses first. This is just going to be -2. I'm going to leave that. Double negative in front of the 4 makes it a +4. This is a -6. And 4 plus -6 then is going to be -2. I have a double negative now in front of the 2, so it's going to be -2 plus 2, and that's going to equal 0. And that will be our answer. Okay, here, again, parentheses, negatives, negative numbers. We have to be very careful about putting our value for these variables into parentheses. We have minus y is 3, and in our parentheses we have a -4 plus a -2. Okay, well, we're going to do the work in these parentheses first. Here's this, here's that. I'm just going to rewrite these. I can actually do -2 minus 3. There's only one negative. This is going to be a positive, so it's going to be 4 minus 2. I add in parentheses. 4 minus 2 is 2. Then I have to remember PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I have to multiply first. So I'm going to multiply -3 times +2. That's going to equal a -6. -2 plus -6 is -8. And now more parentheses and more negative signs and negative values given to the variables. Okay, here's my big parentheses. I have m. M is equal to 2. And I have x. X is equal to negative 3. And then I have the opposite of a. That a is negative 4. And I have minus m. M is 2. Put 2 in a small parentheses, and times x is negative 3. Close my parentheses. Well, when I do the work in this parentheses, I get negative 1. When I do the work in this parentheses, I have 4. I have a negative 2 times the negative 3. That's going to be plus 6. So I'm going to have negative 1, the opposite of negative 1, times positive 10. I have negative, negative. That's a positive. 1 times 10 is 10. And my answer is 10. Okay, I have x equals 4 and a equals negative 2. So I have a negative here. I have to put that in first. And then I have x equals 4. And I have now a negative 2. And then I have a big parentheses. I have 4 minus negative 2 plus negative 2. And I think that takes care of it. So again, we're going to do the work in the parentheses first, this big parentheses. We always start with that. So I'm going to have negative 4 times negative 2 here. 4 minus negative 2 is 4 plus 2. That would be 6. This is multiplication. So all of this is going to be multiplied together. I have 2 negatives. That makes a positive. 4 times 2 is 8. I'm going to have 8 times 6 minus 2. I have 48 minus 2. And that equals 46. And that concludes lesson 14.